Good morning. Living is an investment. Like any other investment in life, we need to identify the most valuable investment. People invest in education because you want to graduate, you want to learn, you want to specialize. People invest in savings because they want their future to be secure. Some of us invest in goodwill because that is the real wealth. I invested my life in JCI, and for me, it's always been a very rewarding happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about investments that we always get associated with. There's no better investment than living, because the quality of living defines what you actually would reap at the end of what you do. We are talking about an important happening in life, balancing life. How can I keep my living and growing alive? As people age, their learning comes down. But you need to invest in a manner that your learning and growing is always alive. We are talking about, from what I sow today, how much can I reap tomorrow? So a very important question to all of us is, how can I keep my living and growing alive? From what I sow today, how much can I reap tomorrow? I can only make one mention, dear friends. You can't grow your living unless your living grows you. It's a great opportunity to be existing in this world. All the time, we are actively associated with living. We are talking about scenarios in life that always keep reflecting the how of life. How do I live my life? Does my life drive my living, or does my living drive my life? The question is quality of living that we are talking about. So how can I make my living as an investment so that for the rest of my life, as long as I may live, this living that I have done today always turns up to be the most important award that I have received in life. It is a very fixed norm of life that when you talk about living, remember this: living is not just what happens to you. Living is not just what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you. We are in a world which is offering all of us opportunities like never before. 20 years ago, it was a different world. 20 years ago, the opportunities that we had then perceived were different. But today, if you take a look from the last 20 years to the today that exists, where you, my dear friends, have a huge opportunity to make sure your future is well rewarded, please appreciate this, that opportunities now are much more than ever before. So I keep coming back to my statement: living is not just about what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you. Look at some examples of people where living actually accumulated into success that is unimaginable. There was this gentleman, you all would have heard about Disney World, right? Walt Disney, its founder. Walt Disney was fired from the Kansas City Star. It was a magazine. And the editor communicated to Walt Disney that you lack imagination. You have no good ideas. But look at what happened today. The kind of living Walt Disney was associated with, he created a very large empire. And today, the estimated value of Walt Disney World is over $150 billion. Let me come to another story that I can talk about. Stephen King's, an old story of a great author. He published a book called The Carrie. When the book was initially to be published, he went across and showed his creation to a lot of publishers. They rejected the script and said, "We are not interested in science fiction. We are not interested in what you're trying to communicate." He persevered because he trusted that the investment he made on creating what he has scripted is certainly going to be a record earner for the whole world. And what happened? Today, more than 350 million copies are sold. So we talk about stories that can many times happen to many of us. But what matters is, how has been your living before? How is your living today? And whatever you're doing within your living today, is this living going to be of value to you in your tomorrow? Give me an example. Think about an opportunity of what you're currently involved with. Think for yourself. What am I doing today? Am I just a student? Am I focusing on my studies? Do I have an opportunity to look at my future? Am I doing both? I am studying, I am learning, and I am planning to lead my life. That's the kind of a paradox that we need to resolve in life, because you need to build value. We've got this Buddha statue in Hyderabad, center of Tank Band. It's 450 tons, 450 tons, 72 feet in height. It's known as the world's largest monolith. Monolith, one stone, right? In one stone, this statue is born. Now, the question I'm asking you, which is most important for us to understand, how my living can become an investment, is how is a rock converted into a delicately crafted statue? Think for a moment. How can a rock be converted into a very delicately converted statue? How is it possible? You see a big stone, you want to make a statue out of it. What do? What you actually do is you start knocking off the excess or the waste part of the stone. That's the way you begin crafting that rock, right? You don't start straight away crafting the rock into a statue. You throw off the excess part of it. Excess baggage, you have to remove from that stone. Start removing those excesses in the statue, and then you get onto the statue. Then you get on to beautifying the statue. Then you go on to making the statue worthwhile. Now, living is very similar. Dear friends, we carry a lot of excess baggage. What we do, does this actually help us? What we do, does this actually help us to build up our own scenario in life, to build up our perspective of living? So we need to remove that excess part of whatever we are trying to do. There's a lot of excess baggage that we carry with us as we live. And we should start eliminating those areas that are not very useful to us. So we talk about how I can craft a statue out of a stone, but then what about my living? How do I craft my living out of what I have in front of me? People fail to understand this. Your design to win over tomorrow does not begin when tomorrow arrives. Your design to win tomorrow does not begin when tomorrow arrives. It starts today. It must start today. And if it starts before tomorrow arrives, then you're sure of converting this tomorrow into a lifelong opportunity. All I can say is that when you and I are all living in the same world, we must be blessed with successes like never before. A lot of living, we have watched sport, right? We've watched that sport of football. Jean-Paul Sartre, and he says football is a metaphor of life. What he's trying to say is, when you're playing the game of football, all you're trying to do is score a goal. Why do you want to score a goal? You want to prove to the world that you're a winner. You want to prove to yourself that you can score a goal. What happens when you're on the field? There are people who are going to block you. There are obstacles that you will come up with. You go back and forth. Sometimes you can't go towards the goal. You have to go away from it to go back there faster, right? We have to depend on others. Others have to depend on us. There are times when you get hit. So what do you do when you get hit? You get up or you get out. Now living is exactly the same. What happens in life when you pursue big goals in life and you are living in this world pursuing those big goals? What do? You have blocks. You will have people blocking you. You'll have yourself blocking you. Your thinking is not as positive as you believe it should be. There are obstacles that you have perceived that would come before you. There are obstacles that never existed before, but they come and block you. You go back and forth. Why do you go back and forth? You want to prove to yourself that you are someone very flexible. Interdependence. I depend on you and you depend on me. That's what living is all about. You start getting hit sometimes in life. There are failures. But when you fall down, you don't lie down. You get up. Because if you fall down, you will remain down. So what you do in life is exactly this. Get up or get out. So we learn this lesson from the football game, that living and football has so much in common. But then that's what life is all about. We all have not much time, but a little time with us to make sure that the quality of living that we associate with today is the living that will make our future more successful. Not just for you, for people who trust you, for people who depend on you. So dear friends, make sure your living is something that adds value to what you do. You have to build value by your living. We are in the most opportune time in life. And the opportune time is today. It's now. And in this opportune moment, what matters for all of us is how my quality living today can support my accomplishment of goals which are too big for me. And the only way for me to do it is to try and confirm to myself that my living today is also my opportunity. I can't let go of this opportunity. I need to throw away that excess baggage. I need to eliminate my negative attitude. I need to remove those waste part of my life zones which do not help me build up. I certainly need to focus on how I can reap from my tomorrow by what I am sowing today. So dear friends, if you and I have a future that we are passionately looking forward to, if you and I are keen to make sure we do things that we haven't done before, because when you do what you have done, you will only get what you have got. So we need to do much more. We need to do much more than what we have done. And if our pursuit in life is to move on, advance beyond who we are, then the only option that is left for us is to start looking at the quality of life that we live. And for me, surely living is an investment, no matter how much of age I have with me. Living is an investment, and that investment must earn me a reward. Otherwise, it's not a good investment. So make the most valuable investment in life. It's your time now. And when I say it's your time, start looking at your living in a manner that your living can become one of the most outstanding investments that you've made in life. There's only one way that you can convert your living into an investment, and that is by patting your back, by telling yourself that my life will be worth it, by making it clear to yourself that I need to eliminate waste parts of my living. I need to focus on my future. I need to focus on success like never before. And if I have to achieve goals and success like never before, the only way, the only opportunity, the non-negotiable opportunity in front of me is to make sure that my living is a good investment for me, for my friends, for my organizations, for my colleagues, for my family. I can only say, do convert your living as an investment for your tomorrow. God bless, all the very best, and wish you lots of success in life. Thank you very much.